Welcome to the show, everybody. Finally, for the live audience, this is the latest we've started since I had a repairman come to the house at like 6 a.m. And then I wasn't going to have him just rooting around the house. I'm, in the studio, basically handcuffed to a microphone. It's 6:54 into a.m., and I appreciate you guys hanging in there. We got so much to get into. The technical issues today, my clips that I'm going to have with Nick Sirianni, still not loaded. They're loading. They're still not loaded, but they're loading. Weston Wilson talking about his cycle last night at Citizens Bank Park. All that's in the process of still coming together. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there. It looks like we're going to have some more technical difficulties as the show goes on today. So this is just a great time. I'm having fun. You having fun? We're all having fun. But my apologies for being late. Eagles did have a phenomenal. Maybe you can have a phenomenal win in the preseason. Last night was a phenomenal win in the preseason. Again, the Eagles come from behind to win, and again, they have a big defensive play to help lock up a victory. Absolutely loved what I saw from the Eagles last night. I was actually really excited. Edge of my seat stuff, pulling for Tanner McKee to get out there and do his thing, and he went out there and he absolutely did his thing. I love the idea of a backup quarterback controversy. Hold on, let me say that one more time. A backup quarterback controversy. That is just fun. That's always fun. You never not have fun with that. So Tanner McKee versus Kenny Pickett. The one thing I will say, we'll hear from Nick Sirianni on it. The one thing Kenny Pickett went against the Patriots starting defensive line for the vast majority of the first half. And it certainly showed. They were in his face constantly. Tanner McKee did not have to go against that. He had a little bit of an easier go of it, but still with the time he was out there on the football field, he did one hell of a job while he was out there, including the 7-play, 70-yard drive that was capped off, ladies and gentlemen, with the 2-point conversion with a beautiful play call by Kellen Moore to get it in there to Aeneas Smith for the go-ahead 2 points for your Philadelphia Eagles. Edge of your seat stuff in the preseason. Now, the Eagles kicked off at 7 o'clock last night. The Phillies' first pitch was 7:40. So I'll say I got to watch the first inning as it was unfolding before I flipped on over to the Eagles, where I had post-cast responsibilities last night on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. So I'm watching the Phillies, and Zach Wheeler goes out there. He's looking pretty sharp. All right, good job, Zach Wheeler. And then back-to-back base hits by Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. Okay, all right. Alec Boehm gets a 93-mile-per-hour fastball up and in. I am not expecting Alec Boehm to swing at that. He rips through the zone for a 3-run home run, and I go, all right. I feel like the Phillies are in a pretty good place. Then they're like, I flip over to the Eagles. I'm like, oh, that's Ross Tucker. I like Ross Tucker a lot. He's been on the show. And Scott Graham, I like Scott Graham a lot. They're still talking about pregame warm-ups and all that stuff. Okay, I can flip back over to the Phillies. Home run! Nick Castellanos, 4-0 Phillies at the bottom of the first inning. Felt like they were well on their way at that point, and little did I know that Weston Wilson was going to hit for the cycle. The first Phillies player to hit for the cycle at Citizens Bank Park since David Bell. Fun fact, I was in college back then, right? I took my little cousin Vincent to the game. He was like 7, 8 years old at the time. We went, hey, Vince, let's go to a game, man. All right, great. We go to the game. I remember I bought him a baseball bat. I bought him a baseball bat at the team store, and we're sitting there, and he's holding the baseball bat, and I look at it, I was like, David Bell's been on base a lot tonight. And then we watched him get, I think the double was the last one, just like Weston Wilson. I could be mistaken on that. But David Bell goes up there and he hits for the cycle. We saw we definitely saw the last 2 hits. I remember that. But we were at that game, and Weston Wilson did it last night for the Phillies. And to have T-Mac and Ben and Rube and that John Kruk fella in the audience at the time, sitting right behind home plate, awesome. I think those are the best seats they've had since they've been doing this, like, sit in the stadium type thing, sit amongst the fans type thing. That was fantastic. That was awesome. I enjoyed that so much, every ounce of it. When I went back to watch it after the Eagles game, I watched a couple innings. This morning, I watched a couple more innings, and then I just said, okay, I got to watch the extended highlights here. We're cutting close on time. It just seemed like a great vibe, and it always is a great vibe when they're in the stands. And I love the Philly fanatic rising up on the riser in front of them. That was awesome. But the Phillies get a huge 13-3 win, and just like that, in the last 2 games, they win 2 games. The Braves lost last night. The Mets lost last night. The Dodgers have lost 2 in a row. So the Phillies are back to the best winning percentage in the National League. Just like that. They were terrible for a nice long stretch there, and now they look to be pretty good. 22 runs in the last 2 games. Yeah, I can get behind that. I can certainly get behind that. And also, I'm not losing sight on the idea that the Phillies right now split a 2-game series with Marlins, started off their series here against the Nationals with a win in convincing fashion, and now they got Aaron Nola on the hill today. They should win these games. As I said before the series, before the homestand, you got 6 games, win 5. Dominate. Win 5. Hell, go on a 6-game winning streak. They're not going to do that. But win 5 of 6. It's in range. It's in range. These games are get-right games for the Phillies. I'm not going to be the fun police and be like, it's only the Nationals, it's only the Marlins, whatever. I am going to enjoy the fact that the Phillies look like a team that's at least getting their swagger back. These games, in essence, are preseason games. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like these really count, but they do. But it feels like this is more important about what happens after this series. If they carry this into Kansas City, they carry this into Atlanta, they carry this out throughout the rest of the year, then we're talking about a team that's locking up the number 1 seed in the National League. We're talking about a 100-win team. We're talking about a team that looks a hell of a lot more like the team that started the season rather than the team that was playing over the last 2 months of the season. And that's ultimately what we'd love the Phillies to recapture. And if it takes 2 against the Marlins, 4 against the Nationals to put them back on track, then so be it. Because I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Phillies thus far. Get 22 runs after a shutout at home, after being terrible in Arizona. 22 runs last night. Home runs from Bohm, home run from Castellanos, the cycle from Weston Wilson, a couple more base knocks from my man Bryce Harper in last night's game. Just 2 games in a row where you see multiple Phillies coming up with multi-hit games. Again, last night it was Turner, Harper, Castellanos, and then, of course, 4 hits from Weston Wilson. And another 2-hit night for Johan Rojas, who, don't look now, is hitting 243 on the season. And looking at his last couple of weeks of baseball, he's gone out there and he's looked like a much better hitter. Over the last 2 weeks, Johan Rojas is hitting 333, 100 on base percentage, and over the last month, he's hitting 310 with a 370 on base percentage. Don't waste that, Phillies. Don't waste that. All right. We'll get into it all. We'll get into it all today. Oh, and the 76ers schedule has been released. We'll break that down. We'll go through the full 82-game wins and losses. Go through the whole schedule. Run the gambit. All right. But let's get into your Philadelphia Eagles. As I told you guys yesterday, I went into yesterday thinking, I can't believe I feel like I'm excited to watch the linebackers. Like, I can't remember the last time I went into a preseason. I was like, I can't wait to watch this linebacker group. It wasn't just about watching one guy and seeing how he does, whether that was, for instance, TJ Edwards coming off a good year and then going into the Super Bowl run year. You had him coming out and like, oh, okay, you get a little something from him. That'd be good. It wasn't like that. It was like watching a whole group. So I'm excited to watch the Kobe Dean. I'm excited to watch the Devin White, all of these guys. Devin White's out there. He starts. Zach Bond's out there. The Kobe Dean gets some run, a lot of run. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. gets a lot of run. Ben Von Sumeren goes out there. He gets some run. Like, I'm just excited to watch all these guys just to see what they can bring to the table. And after watching these 2 preseason games, I'm not putting anybody in the Pro Bowl. I am not making that prediction. But I feel a lot better about the Eagles linebacker group than I did before this preseason. The Kobe Dean looks like he has come ready to play. He looks 100% healthy, and he has come ready to play. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., last night, unfortunately, missed a tackle or 2, got a good hold up in the backfield. I won't call it a tackle or a tackle for loss. He had it right there. I think it was Polk that ended up slipping the tackle, and he couldn't bring him down, but it ended up still being a tackle for loss by somebody else. I think it was actually Kobe Dean that came in and got the stuff at the line of scrimmage. But Zach Bond was out there. He blitzed on a couple of plays. That was great to see. Devin White held his position well for the brief amount of time he was out there. I am very excited. The instincts from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. are every ounce there. Saw more of it last night. That added to what we were able to see in preseason game number 1 against the Ravens. And the guy that has really impressed me the most as far as taking what at least looks like to be a major step forward is Nakobe Dean. And the play in particular that really jumped out to me in last night's game was the play that he made in the second quarter where they swung it to the outside. I think it was Polk that actually came up with it in this one. And Nakobe Dean came up. It was Polk. Nakobe Dean was the blitzer. Nakobe Dean was the blitzer. He gets into the backfield. He gets held up a little bit, but he gets into the backfield. They swing it out to Polk on the outside. James Bradbury's got a kill shot. Misses. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. runs over for the middle of the field. Kill shot. Misses. Nakobe Dean, who was all the way in the backfield, upfield, has to turn, run to his left, and he ends up making the play. Somehow, despite where he was on the field, he's the third man in. And he makes it over there, doesn't quit on the play, doesn't just say, well, I did my job, I got pressure. No, he busts his ass and gets out there, and he makes a stop. That's the guy that shows up to play. That's the guy that wants to come out and make a difference on this defense. That's the guy that wants to come out and say, I shouldn't have been a third-round pick. I should have been a second-round pick at worst. And he went out there and he made the play. And what I have seen from him as far as aggression, how Vic Fangio has been using him, I have loved from Nakobe Dean. Loved what I saw from Nakobe Dean last night. I went through my 3 big things last night on the postcast, but to give them to you guys as well. The third thing that I looked at today, and so the middle was actually Nakobe Dean. The third was the receiving group of Joseph Nada and EJ Jenkins. EJ Jenkins is 6'7" tight end trying to make the team. My man was going up and getting footballs last night. Whether it was from Kenny Pickett or it was Tanner McKee, he was going up and he was getting footballs last night. All 6'7", he would rise to be about 8 feet tall with his vertical to come down with footballs and make sure that he went up and got that. And he went up and got it last night. You see a guy in Joseph Nada going out there last night, an undrafted rookie undrafted second-year player out of Clemson. He goes out there last night and on that 7-play drive comes up with 2 huge catches. The biggest one was for 28 yards right down the middle of the field, and Tanner McKee hit him in stride. There's still a battle. Johnny Wilson, I was looking forward to him last night. I forgot. I'm sorry. He was in concussion protocol Tuesday, suffered a concussion, so he wasn't out there last night. So the guy I was focusing in on more than anything was John Ross. There was a little miscommunication there with him and Kenny Pickett. Ross looked to the wrong side. Then he left the game later with concussion, being evaluated for concussion. And then it was Joseph Nada. And Joseph Nada looked like a guy who had been doing this for years. And Tanner McKee took full advantage of it. In essence, looking at last night's stats, the Eagles went out there with these receivers, with a tight end and a wide receiver, and they both combined for 10 catches. They had 5 each. They also had 5 targets each. So they caught the ball every time they were targeted. Every time a quarterback dropped back and said, I think I'll go to Jenkins. I think I'll go to my man Nada. You know what happened? Reception, completion, yards racked. So I loved what I saw from those guys. And then number 1, if I had to go number 1, I mean, Tanner McKee was number 1. Watching Tanner McKee go out there last night, cool, calm, collected, on target. And I think Kellen Moore did a wonderful job of making sure that Tanner McKee was in a good position to make plays. And everything I saw from Tanner McKee last night was a guy that was not rushing. It was a guy that was not taking a bad sack. Didn't take a sack, as a matter of fact, after Kenny Pickett took 4. Again, better defensive line he was facing, certainly. Starting defensive line. And Tanner McKee has certainly played himself into a potential backup quarterback. Not third string, backup, like number 1 backup in this quarterback factory. And the 2-point conversion was phenomenal. The way it was executed, the way it was called. One of my honorable mentions for last night's game in general was Kellen Moore. Because, this shouldn't be a new thing to us, right? Teams in the NFL use motion. The Kansas City Chiefs bent the Eagles over with motion in the Eagles Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs. And I guess Nick Sirianni didn't look at that and go, motion. That looks good. I'll use that next year. They didn't use it next year. Brian Johnson was the offense coordinator. They didn't use it. The least motioning team in all the NFL last year. So Kellen Moore comes out there. Now, normally, and this is the point I made last night, if Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni were still calling plays together, and Nick Sirianni was still scheming and doing the game plan and all that stuff, and I saw motion last night in the parallel universe where Brian Johnson is still, or alternate universe where Brian Johnson's still here and Nick Sirianni is still game planning. If I saw them run motion, I'd be pissed off that I saw it last night. Because I'd say, hey, why are you putting that on tape? Why are you putting that on film? That seems to be something new. Why are you doing that? But Kellen Moore comes in, and he runs a very basic motion play. That ain't a foreign concept to Kellen Moore. So the fact that he even put that on film makes me think about, what's next? If that's what he's running right now in the preseason, he's just like, burn that play. Everyone will see that play. No big deal. If he's doing that in the preseason, what's he cooking up? What's he cooking up for the regular season? So you see him run that play. Tanner McKee ran it to perfection, executed to perfection. Eagles as an offense, executed to perfection. Nia Smith, great, going from left to right, top to bottom of your screen. Gets open in the corner of the end zone for that touchdown, for that 2-point conversion, and all was right with the world. Tanner McKee certainly number one. So for my top three things, number three, I look at Nada and Jenkins, those two receivers. Then I look at Nakobe Dean, number two, my second star of the game. And then number one, Tanner McKee, phenomenal job. Honorable mentions also went to Avonte Maddox for his interception in the end zone. I don't want to hear jack squat, okay, about a preseason interception not being anything. First off, this Eagles team has not been able to pick off Jalen Hurts. So this makes me appreciate Jalen Hurts even more. They can't pick him off. He's looking guys off. He's making great decisions. He's threading the needle. But then the Eagles secondary steps into a preseason game. Interception in the end zone. That's the first thought I had. The second thought I had was, damn, Avonte Maddox, way to be a safety. Friend of the show, Avonte Maddox, stepped up and made a pro safety move. Not he's lucky to do that because he's really a nickel corner. No, he went up and he got an NFL quarterback with plenty of experience under his belt in Jacoby Brissett. And he went in front of a NFL tight end in Austin Hooper, and made that interception. He did not have positioning on that interception in the end zone. He made sure he got positioning to intercept that football and take it back, whatever it was, 47 yards. The fella, Avonte Maddox, certainly worthy of a honorable mention at the very least. Yeah, 981 completions. 981 completions in Jacoby Brissett's career. 31 years old. Almost 80 games played in his career. That ain't no chump. If it was like, what's the fellow's name? Drake May? If it was Drake May, I'd be like, he got a rookie. I mean, come on. It wasn't. He got a veteran. The guy's been a starter in this league. That's impressive. Good job there, Avonte Maddox. Thomas Booker, the fourth, came up with a sack late in the game. Good to see him do that. Big move he made to the inside. I do feel bad for Tyler Steen getting the ankle injury last night. We'll hear from Nick Sirianni talking about that. Looks like he re-injured the same ankle. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I describe as relentless, especially on that play that he had in the backfield where he couldn't come up with a tackle for loss, but still got the penetration and held things up in the backfield in order for that to be a run stuff. And then one person in particular, I want to make sure I shout out because Vic Fangio was asked about him this week on Monday. And he was asked about Nolan Smith coming up with a sack against the Ravens. And Vic Fangio was like, yeah, big deal. Like, hey, Nolan Smith got a sack. That's pretty cool. And Vic Fangio was like, yeah, it was free. They missed him. They didn't even block him. They just free shot at the quarterback right there, and he got it. So whatever. That was his attitude. He didn't say that, but he said, yeah, he had a free lane, and he got to use his speed. And when he gets to use his speed, he's a very good player because the speed is his best attribute. And he did say, hey, I give guys credit. A lot of guys get there and they don't make the play, i.e. James Bradberry on the outside. A lot of guys get there, they don't make the play. Trotter, again, he missed the play on that same play with Bradberry as well, as I referenced earlier. But a lot of guys get in the backfield, and a lot of guys don't make the play. They don't convert it. Yeah. But Nolan Smith in that Ravens game got to the backfield, and he converted. He finished the play. But it was all on speed. So Vic Fangio, he wasn't speaking down about Nolan Smith, but he said, yeah, when he uses his speed, he's good. He's got to work on the other stuff, basically. So then Nolan Smith goes out there last night and he records another sack in a totally different way. It wasn't him being fast around the edge. It wasn't him being unblocked. He was actually blocked twice. And you could make an argument that the first block actually put him in position to make the sack, but he still had to fight his way through that, keep his feet, and then they made contact with him again on a second hit. He kept his feet, and he kept moving. He reminded me more of a running back. Because when you're playing running back, they're always telling you, and they're always saying it during the games as well, keep your legs moving. Your legs never stop until they make you stop your legs. Nakobe Dean took one hit, Nolan Smith kept his feet on the first hit, got back on track, got nudged again, kept his feet, got back on track, and then he used his speed. So first you had toughness, tenacity, then speed, and he converted that for the sack. That's exactly what Vic Fangio was talking about on Monday. What he needed to see from Nolan Smith, he saw it in last night's game on that particular play. Good for Nolan Smith. Great for Nolan Smith. And yes, I said before the preseason, said before training camp, it's not even on my radar. He's got to get on my radar first for me to think he's going to do anything. Well, he's on my radar now. He's on my radar now. Good job there, Nolan Smith. So I love what I saw from him. Bryce Huff, I saw a little bit of last night. It was good to see that. He made a great stop on the first run play, then the first pass play. He was right there to set up a third down. Love seeing that in the first possession of the game there by the New England Patriots. Didn't see as much from Will Shipley. Nice game, not a great game. Great game was the first game, not so great this time. And all in all, I just really enjoyed. The only things that made me cringe, one was I felt bad for the guy because it's an injury. Tyler Steen getting hurt again after fighting his way back to get on the football field. It looks like Mekhi Becton will be starting right guard right now. That's unfortunate. That's just unfortunate happenstance. But another guy who just looks, unfortunately, exactly like he looked last year was James Bradberry. For a third time, missed that tackle on Polk on the outside. And then I know Ross Tucker during the game was a little hesitant to say it was James Bradberry's fault on the Drake May touchdown scamper. But that was totally James Bradberry's fault. Had no doubt in my mind. That was his fault. May ran the keeper on the 3rd and goal. I can't remember who was lined up on the inside. It was either Huff. It was the second quarter, so I don't think it was Huff. I think it was might have been Smith. Bradberry's lined up on the outside. You see him bite in the middle to go towards the middle of the field. May kept it, ran to the outside, right where it looked like James Bradberry was supposed to be. Supposed to have that outside contain, or that middle lane, rather, and he did not. And they ran for the touchdown and made it a 10-3 New England. New England touchdown. Also felt bad for John Ross because he had the defense beat, and either Kenny Pickett threw to the wrong side on the Eagles' first possession, or John Ross looked to the wrong spot, because that would have been 6. That would have been probably, I think, like a 93-yard touchdown reception, because nobody was in front of John Ross on that. Jake Elliott made his field goal, so we don't have to cut him now, so that's good. Patrick Johnson got his hands on Jacoby Brissett in that first quarter as well. Good to see that. Nolan Smith did have that roughing the passer, but Trying to play referenced already. Tanner McKinney at quarterback. Oh, they did try the tush push. Didn't work. Yeah. All that and more. Let me know what jumped out to you in the Eagles game last night in the comments, please, and thank you. Let's hear from Nick Sirianni on the Eagles quarterback controversy. The first thing he was asked about in the press conference last night was, I think it was Jimmy Kempski. Jimmy Kempski asked him, so Mekhi Becton's your starting right guard? And then Nick went on with a little bit more.
Is Tanner outplaying Kenny?
I thought.
Wait a minute.
A year ago, you said you regretted not.
Oh, okay. Sorry. He said that when it comes to right guard, Becton and Steen are still fighting it out. I don't believe you, Nick Sirianni. And then the next question, I'm sorry, this is Zach Berman asking the question about whether or not Tanner McKee is outperforming Kenny Pickett.
Is Tanner outplaying Kenny?
I thought they both did some good things today. I think Kenny was 11 to 13. Only hit the ground twice. He had some pressure on him. Tanner played well. I think he was 15 to 19 today. But made some good throws. I thought Will did some good things. I'm happy they're all on the roster right now, and I really am. That's a good room, and they're all helping Jalen. They're all helping each other, and I love that. So it really is a good room. And like I said, the things that kind of stalled some of the drives in the first half today was some of the pressures that we got. And we didn't run it great in that area either for some different reasons that we'll obviously look at and why. So, no, I thought they both played a solid game tonight. It just some of the pressure that was on Kenny happened in that first half.
He's going all with the fact that the Patriots played their starting defensive line into the second quarter. That's what he's basing everything on. Tanner McKee is going to have to go out there on Saturday against the Vikings, 1:00 in South Philadelphia, and he's going to have to dominate. He's going to have to look like Joe Montana. He's going to put up like 400 yards and like 5 touchdowns, but it ain't happening. Tanner McKee has shown that if he is needed to be a backup quarterback, the number 2 guy to Jalen Hurts, he can be that guy. That's what he's shown me so far this preseason. Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately, we're now down to your 3rd string quarterback, Tanner McKee. I will still have confidence that he can at least run an offense. And that's a huge thing. A lot of times when you have confidence in a backup quarterback, I'm not saying I have confidence in him coming in and being the star of the show and the number 1 reason the Eagles win games. No, just a guy that's not going to lose you a game. A guy that's going to be a game manager. I have confidence in Tanner McKee come in and manage a game. Not get rattled, not be too small for the moment, not turn the football over frequently. Make mistakes, sure, but not lose you the game. He's not going to go out there and throw for the 400 yards. No, he's not going to be that guy. But he's going to be good. He's going to manage the game. I can have confidence in doing that. And if Kenny Pickett has to start and he struggles or has to leave the game, I have confidence Tanner McKee come in and play some football. But ultimately, Kenny Pickett, it is his job to lose. And I don't see him losing it in the preseason. He's going to be the number 2 guy. He's going to be the backup quarterback going into the season. Eagles made a trade for him. They brought him in. They're a quarterback factory. They look at him as a guy that will be that number 2 guy. And he started already plenty of games in the NFL. So they're going to go with experience and also putting that kind of experience in the offense with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley and this offensive line. Oh, that's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good. So although Tanner McKee, for me, has been the star of the preseason, I don't think that he is leapfrogging Kenny Pickett anytime soon. If Tanner McKee would have started last night, then I would have thought there was a little bit of a different story. But he didn't. Kenny Pickett started. One more thing from last night from Nick Sirianni. Now, I would still like to see Jalen Hurts take a series. I don't even need him to throw the football. I just need him to hand the ball off to Will Shipley. Have the ball in his hands for as few seconds as possible. But I still think it would be a great thing to have Cam Jurgens, Jalen Hurts, and Kellen Moore all communicating in a football game. You know, like the football games are going to be playing in during the season and stuff. I would like to get that out of the way. Just so you know, this is what I hear. This is how he communicates the play to me. Now, with all the stuff going on in a game setting at Lincoln Financial Field, this is what it's going to be like. Okay, I now know exactly what to expect. Come Brazil, I know exactly what to expect. Let's get that out of the way. It ain't happening. But if I had my prerogative, my preference would be I'd see that happen at least once in the preseason for a series, at most, and hand the ball off every single time. That's not happening. So Jeff McClain, good job to him for remembering this. I do remember this happening. Asking Nick Sirianni about playing the starters. Listen to this exchange between Nick and Jeff McClain.
You said you regretted not playing the starters in the preseason. It seems like that's what's going to happen here. What's different this year, especially with you're putting in a new scheme?
Yeah,
offensively?
I don't remember, and you would again. You're saying I said regret it, and yeah, do you have it like that? And so, and I maybe whether really what I probably should have said if I didn't say this is I would always reconsider, right? And always going to reconsider things. And we'll see what happens next week as far as our plan to play anybody. But again, if you think about when you play it, like last week, I'm not even going to get into all that, but like I always will consider everything's always on the table. And each year is a different year. All right. For me to answer anything for next year or probably last year, even, answering for this year, wasn't smart on my behalf. So every year is a new set of challenges. Every year is new circumstances. Every year, everything's always on the table of what you want to do and what you think you do to. The main goal is to get your guys ready to go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I'd say we've started these last 2 years pretty hot off the starting 8-0 I believe 8-0 and 22 and 5-0 last year before we lost.
All right. I assume that you guys are fans of The Office. It's a funny line, and I love this line. And I think about this line a lot when Nick Sirianni starts talking, right? Remember that thing that Michael Scott said, right? About how sometimes he starts a sentence and then has no idea where it's going or where it ends. Ed Hockley used to say that too about his referee calls, for the record. Sometimes I just start a sentence and I have no idea where it's going to end. Sometimes I just start talking. Nick Sirianni was so caught off guard by Jeff McClain having an elephant's memory and going back and be like, so you said he regretted it. He's like, I don't know if that's. I don't think I said. Maybe that's. I don't. I think I said. I don't think I said. Maybe I said. Maybe that's how you have it written down. That I don't. About them. It's a different. It's a year. There's a year, and this year is not. This year's not. Last year's. So if you look at last year, if you look at last year was 2023. If you look at last year, today's 2024. It's a different year, and the starters are started, but they don't start in the. So what I'm saying is everything's different. I'm sorry, what was that, Coach? Do you want to run that one back? Do you regret starting your answer? Do you wish you just would have said every year's different? Because that I can understand. Whatever you just said, I don't know. Anyway, I want him out there. I don't need Barkley out there. I think if my peaked in 8th grade athletically body was out there, I would want to play one series. Here, the guy's going to be calling the plays for me. Get used to just have that one experience in a game with my new center who's replacing a Hall of Fame center who I trusted with everything. And they go, well, you do that at practice. Yeah, but that's not a game. You understand what I'm saying? You're talking about something over here that's orange. I'm talking about something out here that's green. We're not the same. We are not the same. Eagles, Vikings, Saturday, 1:00 in the afternoon, this coming Saturday. So there you are. There you are. The Phillies. I'm loving every ounce of this. there were, in my opinion, there are two preseason games that went on last night. One was with the Eagles, and one is with the Phillies. And this Phillies team has 6 preseason games right here. Right now, they're 1-1 in their preseason. Excuse me, 2-1 in their preseason game. All right, these are the get right games. These are the preseason to the end of the year push. Get right, work it out, and then you carry that momentum. Listen to what the Phillies have coming up after this. Before we talk about what went down last night, let's talk about what's coming up for the Phillies. Okay, so they've won back-to-back games. That's fun. Nice to see them do that. They have 3 more against the Nationals. Then they go to Atlanta for 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in Atlanta. Then they go to Kansas City to take on the Royals for 3 games. Then they got the Houston Astros, who are slugging it out with the Seattle Mariners for first place out there in the AL West. And then they got the Braves for 4 more, the Blue Jays for 2, the Marlins, who continue to be a thorn in their damn side for 4 games in Miami. Then they got the Tampa Bay Rays, the New York Metropolitans, the Brew Crew, back to the Mets, host Chicago, the Cubs. And then they go to the Nationals to finish up the season for a 3-game series that takes you to September 29th. Phillies have 7 more games left on the schedule against the Braves. The Phillies have 7 more games on the schedule against the Mets. They have 3 games against the Brewers. 14, 16, 17, 18 games. $17 games. 17 games coming up here against teams that you're really going to be duking it out with in the National League. Braves, Mets, and Brewers. With a smattering of some other good baseball teams in there as well. Stack these wins now, please. Okay. So when you talk about get-right games, you talk about get-right series, homestands, that's what you have right now. The Phillies jumped out to that 4-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning with Zach Wheeler on the hill. That's the type of game that when you know you have a starter like that on the mound and you get early runs like that, first inning runs like that, you go, win! Chalk it up! Win, baby! And the Phillies just kept pouring it on through some help of the Nationals defense. I don't know what was going on last night in center field, but holy Stromboli! Young makes the incredible catch in center field going up against the wall. Then he can't catch a line drive fly ball hit right at him. Leads to extra bases, leads to runs scoring. And the Phillies just keep pouring on. They never stopped. 4 runs in the first, 5 runs in the fourth, and then 2 runs in the 7th, 2 runs in the 8th. They just kept it going. And all throughout, Weston Wilson was hitting baseballs. Weston Wilson in last night's game, first off, against the Nationals, he had his first career home run and his first career at bat. I think that was when his dad was crying. That was beautiful. How awesome was that? But Weston Wilson goes up there in the first inning and he strikes out in his first at bat. Then he comes up later in the ball game. He's able to step up to the plate there in the 4th inning. He hits the triple off the bottom of the wall there in right field, and he gets 3 bags out of it as it caroms back towards first base, and he's standing on third. Then he comes up to bat yet again in the 7th inning. And he goes up there and he gets the home run to right field, makes it a 10-3 ball game. Comes up later in the ball game, then again in the 8th inning, and he gets that double. Realmuto moves to third. My man Pots and Pans gets the cycle. That one right there was off the mitt of, there's a left field call. Off the mitt of a diving call in right field. And I'm thinking, hey, what are you diving for? It's going to be a double. Why are you trying to rob the man of a cycle, you bum? But anyway, goes out there and he gets the double. After the game, Weston Wilson addressing the media as to what it felt like to get that done when it came to the cycle.
How what?
How aware were you in the 8th inning that you?
I was aware because Harper was at the top step letting me know, hey, if you hit it, keep running. Don't stop till second. So I knew about it.
The fans were chanting, for the double and stuff.
Yeah, when I was on the on-deck circle, heard plenty of people saying it. So yeah, definitely knew.
Didn't feel like you needed to change your approach or anything up there? Or try and
no, honestly, what I was doing was working, so I just kind of stayed with it.
After the long career in the minors, what's it been like to you hit a home run in your first at bat in the big leagues? Now you're the second Philly to hit a cycle, so this is Bank Park. I mean, what do these milestones, I guess, kind of mean to you?
I think it's a testament to perseverance, staying with everything. Hasn't been easy, but last year against them actually was my first game, so to have that moment last year and then this one has been really cool.
Love that Bryce Harper was at the top of the set, being like, "Hey, you just need a double here, right?" I love when players break each other's stones like that. There's a famous story about David Cohn during David Wells's perfect game for the Yankees about how, no one talks to the pitcher in the middle of a no-hitter. Coney kept going up to David Wells and being like, "You should really throw the curveball more. Like, your curveball, you should really throw the curve. Why don't you throw the curveball more?" Like, I love that stuff. And he got the perfect game. But Bryce Harper is standing there, and look, I'm not comparing the two, but it's just a funny instance. Weston Wilson getting ready to go out there to the on-deck circle, and Bryce Harper being right there on the top step, being like, "Hey, you just need a double, right?" The crowd chanting, "Double, double, double." And he goes up there and he lines one to the left center field or right center field gap. Home run to right field, triple to right field. The single that he had was a little humpback liner, essentially. And he got a single out of that. Yeah. And then the double. He just smacked to Alex Call in right field. And he dove, missed it. And Weston Wilson standing on second base. The good vibes all started with a grand slam. And if the Phillies continue to go on a run, you're talking about dropping 3, 4, 5 games and now stacking some wins. All right. You won the Marsh game in Seattle. You won 2 or 3 in LA. You lost 3 or 4 against the Diamondbacks. You lost against the Marlins. And now the winning streak begins. They win one today. That's what's called a winning streak. It has happened before. Aaron Nola gets the ball for the Phillies tonight. Certainly looking forward to that. Another 6:40 start time for your Phillies. Patrick Corbin will go for the Nationals. So they'll have the lefty on the mound for them. He's 2-12 in the season with a 5.98 ERA. Good Lord. So another lefty on the hill. That means Nick Castellanos hit another home run. So I'll be betting that one tonight. As for the season, Patrick Corbin, 35 years old. This will be his second start against the Phillies this season and his first start against the Phillies since April 5th. He went 6 innings, allowing 4 runs on 9 hits in that start. It was his first loss of the season. The Phillies won that game 4-0. So he gave up all 4 runs in his 6th innings of work. In that game, Bryce Harper was 3 for 5. Not too shabby. And that was also an Aaron Nola started game. Nola pitched that game back on the 5th of April, so going back quite a ways. 5 2/3 in that one. Nola, by the way, on the season is 11-6 with a 3.60 ERA. He is coming off a losing effort. Allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned against the Arizona Diamondbacks in his previous start. He's allowed a total of 8 runs over his last 2 starts, over his last 11 innings, 8 runs. So it'd be nice to see Aaron Nola get back on track against this Washington Nationals team. 6:40 start time tonight. And then looking at the rest of the schedule here for the Phils once again, what they have coming up here, this is 6:40 start time tonight. And then Saturday, I think they have a 6:05 start time mixed in there somewheres along the line. 6:05 Saturday, 1:35 Sunday, and then back-to-back 7:20 starts in Atlanta, and then 7:15 on Thursday. So that's what the Phillies got to coming up. Just like that. All right. Hey, let me tell you about MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Want to bet on the Phils? Want to bet on the world of baseball? WNBA, TV, politics, all of it. You can bet on it at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Once again, download the MyBookie app to your phone, create an account, and use promo code Farzy and get $20 off. And get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. How about the Gametime app? Want to go to these games at Citizens Bank Park? You want to go to the Eagles game coming up on Saturday, a week from tomorrow? Go to the Gametime app. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. You can take advantage of their last-minute ticket deals, their flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So let's say you're going to a concert or a comedy show. You want to buy tickets on the Gametime app, which you can do, not just for sports, concerts, comedy shows, events. You might miss the opening act. You might miss the middle. But you'll see that headliner at a great discounted rate on the Gametime app. And you can also toggle the Gametime app to find out the all-in pricing so there's no sticker shock at the end. Wait, how much? Wait, how do these $20 tickets become $30 tickets? What just happened? Convenience fee? No. Gametime app lets you know ahead of time so you know exactly what you're buying. You can also preview your seat before you buy it. So you take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Gametime app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check. April, good morning. IBH, good morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Oh, glorious Friday. Glorious Friday. I'm gonna dad hard today. I might mow the lawn today. Yeah, that's right. Let's get saucy. Jason A, what's going on? How about our new quarterback number 2, Tanner McKee? I'm gonna go and make the prediction. It's not happening. Jason A, what's going on? Dean had an awesome night. That blitz he had and then ran all the way back to make the tackle was an awesome hustle play. Hells yeah. April. Farzy must have had a late night. I was ready to start. Me, myself, and I. Technology wasn't ready to start, but I was ready to start at 6:15 for the record. You know what I did? Honestly, this is what I did. I redialed my dial-up internet. I yelled at my mom to get off the computer. No. Mom, get off the phone. No, it's just you had to yell at it. See, back in the day, kids, you had to yell for someone to get off the phone so you could plug in and do the internet thing, the new internet thing. Welcome. You've got mail. Yeah, that guy. Speaking of me as an old person, yesterday I played golf with my buddy Bennett. Played 9 holes, which right there, old. Okay. Played golf at a little place called Five Ponds in Warminster, which has been there forever. Not that I was on the golf team, but Archbishop Wood, where I went to high school, that's where the golf, that was like their home course, right? So we play there, and they team us up with a nice young couple, college seniors, a nice young lady and her boyfriend, Johnny, right? They team us up, and we're talking. And I say, hey, where do you guys go to school? And like, oh, we're getting ready to graduate at Temple. I'm like, oh, I'm a Temple guy. That's awesome. And they go, oh, yeah? When'd you graduate? And I'm like, oh, you bastards. I know exactly where you're going with this, you little bastards. And I go, 2005. And they go, oh, yeah, we were 2 years old. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, that's the end of that story. Sorry, I'm a big dumb idiot. Why was that relevant? Oh, I was talking about AOL. April, you know I have a Family Guy brain. IBH double win last night. Hell yeah. Phillies are hopefully back. I am not saying the Phillies are back until the Phillies spank the Braves and then put the Astros over their knee and then beat the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets. That's what I'm saying. Deep. Jason, I don't blame him. I think that means me. He's at work right now. He's tired. I'm sorry. April, had to listen to the radio broadcast last night. Stupid blackout rules. And they kept talking like there was a players' meeting. Yeah, there was a players' meeting. The Phillies did have a players meeting. I mean, it wasn't only players, though. Rob Thompson apparently was a part of it, but the players led the meeting. Like, according to John Kruk, according to Tom McCarthy 2 nights ago, Rob Thompson was fine with the players getting together, but his rule is that the coaches have to be a part of it. Or, excuse me, allowed in the room. Whatever. James Alexander, what's going on? Yeah, that team meeting that apparently didn't work seems to be working right now. Good morning. That was a great performance last night. James, thank you very much. That was awesome. Not by me, but by the Eagles. We're going to work. We're all going to work tired and happy today. But happy today. Yeah, we are happy. Jason A. Loved what I saw from Dean and Trotter. The later had some misses. But still his instincts are incredible. Yeah, I agree with that. Sean Gillespie, good morning. IBH, maybe Weston Wilson can get some playing time. Really cool that we get to see a cycle. Absolutely. What's the cycle? I forgot again. Well, there's the natural cycle, which is everything in order. And then there's a crazy cycle. Oh, wait, Jason, are you being serious? I'm sorry. Single, double, triple, home run, grand slam for the super duper cycle. Sean Gillespie thought the show got canceled. No, here I am. Jason A. Double. Oh, there we go. Look at you guys. IBH, yeah, really impressive that a single was an infield hit. Really hustling. Yeah, he absolutely was last night. Nolan Smith still can't shed blocks. Yeah, I'm not saying that all of a sudden now he can do it. I'm just saying that all of a sudden it was nice to see him do it last night. Once. And yes, the first block pushed him back to the pocket. But instead of losing his feet, stayed on his feet, got nudged again, and then still made it to the quarterback. April Farzy still trying to find another AOL disc. Oh, here's Shooter McGavin. Cute series versus Washington. Then the slide will continue. Gee, thanks, Shooter. You eat pieces for breakfast? All right. I like Weston Wilson. I like that kid. Phillies rookie Weston Wilson hit for the cycle. He did it in his 24th game. He's the 6th youngest player ever to hit the cycle in baseball history. That's pretty cool, yeah. Thank you, Sean. Hope the missus had I hope Nancy. Hope Nance. Hope Nance had a great day. Hope took her out. If they win 100 games, I will come on your live stream and digest my shoelaces. Big Marshall, no one ever questioned Dean's effort, not the issue. Yeah, but durability. Oh, Shooter McGavin with the compliments here. Shooting out compliments to Tanner McKee. Looking good. Good to see Bradbury still trash. Thank you, April. I concur. Ooh, IBH, if McKee keeps this up, Howie's phone will be ringing. Ooh. If he trades Tanner McKee for anything, a 3rd-round pick or more, oh, baby. Okay, Crawley, what's going on, man? Man, if Hurts goes down, I'm sorry, Eagles have no chance, especially if Pickett runs into the huddle. Even Nolan Smith looked like a star versus that loser Low. Yeah. Oh, Adam, what's going on? Decent show, except for Shooter. You are blocked. Sick of you coming over here, running your yap. Go follow your own team. I like the adversity. I don't mind the adversity. And plus, Shooter McGavin is just a great handle. I got to give it to him on that. Shooter McGavin's a great handle. Crawley, Sirianni is such a buffoon. It's clear who's better. Yeah, I mean, you do have to weigh in the competition. Critiquing Pickett when he had the second team offensive line against the Patriots first team DL is like critiquing legitimate female Okay. Stratus, what's going on? How are you? Oh, Sean Kilmer. The missus had a great day at work, unfortunately. We're celebrating with the family this weekend, Farzy. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Lisa Wicks, what's going on? Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday to y'all. Happy Friday to you too, Lisa Wicks. Thank you. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. As I mentioned, Phillies back at it tonight. Nola versus Corbin, righty versus lefty. 6:40 start time, South Philadelphia. I will be on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia Phillies postcast tonight. So don't miss that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farzy Show as well. Go ahead and do that right now. Like, subscribe to the Farzy Show. Like, subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Like, subscribe to Jacob Media. Like and subscribe to just something else random. I don't know. And yeah, we'll all have ourselves a good time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzad. I'll be back with you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia Phillies postcast. So don't miss that. And then back with you guys Monday morning, of course, as well. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Yeah, and have a great weekend as well. See you guys tonight and through the weekend on Locked On Sports Philadelphia, and then right here on the Farzy Show on Monday. See ya.